Dr. Backels. You have a couple of stories you've told me that could fill a book just by itself. Would you like to share something? No pressure.
Yeah, I understand that completely. First off, I think if you go back in the time when college came into existence, you can start with Dr. Dabney S. Lancaster. You probably don't understand it, but he was the one who wrote the book, who wrote the information that there should be community colleges. And my timing is a bit wrong here, I don't know. It was about 6 years before the colleges came into being, but he wrote that particular book or whatever it was, making a recommendation. And people don't realize that it went back that far, that he was it. Secondly, he was with us always, and he was on the board at, he was president of a community, of a state college. What was it? Longwood, yeah. And he knew many, many people. Secondly, probably as many people know as Ben Muma. I had in many occasions to meet the governor, the appropriate governor at the time. And I will never forget one time we were at a reception type of situation, and the governor came in, and I said, Ben, we better get over there and shake, you know. He said, don't worry about it. I said, what do you mean? He said, he'll be coming over here. You gotta be kidding. But no, I stood there with Ben, and there comes the governor over to shake Ben's hand. You do not understand the political influence that this community college came into being. I can remember going down and talking to members of any relationship to the college, and it never came out. There was never really a problem of Republicans or Democrats. I mean, they were there, and they were for us, and they worked with us all the way through. You don't understand the relationship of the college board at that time. They were with us completely, and they were working hard at the thing. And it happened. It happened because the community was stepping out for it. We had relationships with a lot of folks. I want to drop that for a point, but the other most interesting thing was we were, I think, about 6 community colleges when we started, and understand Virginia didn't have community colleges. Secondly, community colleges were opening across the country at the rate of about one per week. There were community colleges popping up, and if you look at the background for it, or the timing for it, you'll see that it's the right after World War II, when everybody was going to college. It led to a lot more than a lot of people realize. It was a fantastic operation. At the time, we had strong community college boards. They were there with us. The problem started to come along in the early days was you had a great big college in Northern Virginia, you know, with about 5,000 or 6,000 students, and we were sitting down here, we were lucky to have 1,000. At that point in time, they were writing the regulations for community colleges, but they we're looking to the presidents of the community colleges for influence or whatever we could do or how we should do it in all of this. And it got so bad, it got sort of interesting because when if they could get me from the smallest college and Dick Ernst, who was president of Northern Virginia Community College, it would pass. Because the bottom, the small colleges were benefiting for something, and the big colleges, and if Dick Ernst and we went together, we could do it. And it was sort of interesting because then the politicians, our representatives, were getting it from both sides, and it really worked. And I think that is the reason why the community college has been built here. The people in the area wanted it. The people in positions to do it did it. And we always had all of the support we ever wanted. It was beyond compare. But that's about it. Before we get into some of the stuff that we had to do things, but we got through. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. So some of that history is in the book. Okay, if it's wrong, then I found your original notes, then you're wrong back when you were here. Okay, and I guess the one thing I would like to do is everyone who was interviewed, face-to-face interviewed, can you just stand and be recognized? I just want to thank everybody for the, yeah. So this book, I think as Joan talked about, was a little different because I wanted to try to be as inclusive as possible because we could have interviewed hundreds of people with 7 volunteers we'd be still here. We'd be 65 years old as a college before we finished. But what we did was we actually interviewed 22 people, and then what we did, which was a little unique, we sent out a survey to community members, to college, to current students, gave them the ability to provide a quote. And we ended up, I think, another 31. So we have close to 55 individuals, current faculty, current staff, retired faculty. There were some that we tried to interview that the schedules didn't work out, but they provided the quote. So we're really excited about the compilation. The other thing is that the sections in the back provide some history of every commencement speaker we've ever had. The Medallion of Merit, which is a recognition, a community recognition that the college used to do for any one of our 4 areas that we serve, and it's given by our local board. And in 2012, that was stopped, and our local board actually reinstituted it this year. We're taking nominations right now for that. You can check out our website, and we also have paper nominations in the president's office if you have somebody that you would like to nominate. We established an alumni of the year 2 years ago. That information is in there. And then we also recognize a student at graduation every year through the Gary Lee Miller Award. And all of that information, including Gary Lee Miller's background, is also in there. Our school song is in there, okay? That was written by one of our employees. I don't even know what year it was written, but it's her and her husband sing it every year at graduation. So we try to really capture as much history as possible. So the next crew who's here 50 years from now, they can update the book. They'll be able to update the book. Chris?
So it's probably a little unusual for me to stand, but in July I will make 5 years here at Abbey. I was born in 1954 in Honolulu, Hawaii. in the proud territory of Hawaii at the time. And when I graduated in '72, I had applied to two universities, University of Hawaii and Pepperdine University, and I wanted to leave Hawaii, so I went to Pepperdine and went there for 2 years. And after 2 years, I dropped out and I didn't go back for another 24 years. And actually, when my wife and I went back to school, we had 7 children. We lived in married student housing, 900 square foot, 3-bedroom apartment, and I worked full time and went to school full time. And anyway, I eventually came out here to Virginia in 2001, and then, like I say, about almost 5 years ago, I started working here at Dabney. And the interesting thing is that during my years in colleges, and I worked in catering and admissions and different positions on college campuses, I really hadn't heard much about first-generation students. And so coming here to Dabney was a real revelation for me, because a lot of the activity here focuses on first-generation students, low-income students, and students that really need more support and help. And it was really me finding out that who I was when I first started college way back at Pepperdine. And I realized, I never went to an advisor or a counselor, never got any help, selecting what I was going to do, just talk to friends. And then I realized, working here, that that's what first generation students do. They don't have anybody that they can follow their example or get advice from. And I will tell you that I have had a lot of inspiring experiences where I've learned so much about what American education is. I honestly believe that American education is really deficient in a lot of ways. And it's very interesting, because I think community colleges are positioned to be kind of the circulatory system of higher education in America, if people allow it to become such. But I believe that every region, all the educational institutions, from preschools all the way up to colleges, should be connected, because every student that comes and applies should be able to be evaluated and assisted and be able to direct it to exactly the institution that they need to go to. And right now we don't have that. But I do think that, again, community colleges like Dabney have the capacity to be that kind of resource, that kind of glue for the educational environment that we have here in this region. And I'm thankful that President Rainoni is here, and that we have a lot of good people. There's a lot of difficult circumstances that have arisen, a lot of challenges to overcome. But I do think that it can't be overcome by Dabney people. It has to be the whole community, and everybody needs to get connected and pull together. And if we can do that, it's going to be a wonderful experience.
Yeah, we have any year between 60 and 70% of our students are first generation. So, and that's what Karen talked about initially, and that's what Chris says. But that's really the role of the community college.
Well, I'll go, because I'm going to speak for Gary and I, but I was a student here actually in 1974, so I go way back. When I was a high school student at Clifton Forge High School, probably one of the first dual enrollment. I think there was 3 of us, which was pretty progressive for a little old Clifton Forge High School. But then I continued on here and graduated in '77. But my experience here was wonderful, with all the professors and meeting new people, and that was when you had live bands come in, you had intramurals. It was just a totally different time, the turbulent '70s. But the greatest thing the college has done for me is my husband came to work here, Gary, a lot of y'all know, in 1979. So our whole life has been involved with this college. We've raised our children here, and I can't go without saying nobody has said anything about the 4th of July, the Dr. Backels and the beanhole beans. And the buffalo hamburgers. I said we had to talk about that, because that was a huge part of the community. Not for the people that worked here, it was a really long, hard day, and within our family, our children loved it. Gary and I, not so much. But it was like, we had to get up like 6 o'clock and come up here, but it was great. And I just want to mention that, because he was the instigator of that, or the starter of that. But our lives have been, Gary will be here 40 years in October. October. So we've raised all our children through this college. They've seen the wonderful stories that have come, the things we have discussed, the broadening of their minds. They all came here in high school, took dual enrollment, went into college a year or two ahead, have been very successful in their careers, and it all started here at Dabney. My youngest son is now, he's a freshman at CMU, and he did the same thing. He took he's now going to be a junior at the end of this semester. So it has just been a wonderful experience, and I think people don't realize how much it's given to this community, how many people have come here, like you said, and it has changed their lives, maybe in big ways in their career, but sometimes in really small ways, that you meet other people, your mind is broadened, you see other viewpoints. It's just that this college is so accepting, and it's been a wonderful part of giving us lives. And I'm just so thankful it's here. And I hope it continues for another many more years, hundreds of years, and the community stays involved with it the way it is, and it's still the central part of the Allegheny Highlands and Rock Ridge County and Bobby Times.
Thank you, Leigh Ann. I think we have about 5 more minutes, so if there's any, I guess the one message is a follow-up that I would ask all of you. All of you are messengers for this college. So you have children, grandchildren, Amelia, where are you going to go to college when you're ready? Right? We'll have club car cookies when you come. So, but all of you really need to help us be messengers and continue to as a first step. And this is the thing I tell students in orientation. This is not your last step. This is your first step. And to be able to really start here, as an old line, start here and go anywhere. And Karen talked a little bit about that earlier, but and you heard certainly some of these stories. Steve talked about basketball, and really proud to say that we are bringing back basketball in the fall, men and women's basketball. So we're going to need full teams. We've hired 2 coaches. We're really excited about that, and really ultimately, you know, you've read all the stories nationally and even in the state. Community colleges at a time of when unemployment is low, our enrollments are low, and unemployment is as low as it's been in decades, and our enrollment across the country, across the state and the country, has never been lower. We've lost about 15% in the last 5 years. Other schools have lost 25%. You know, so just think about, if you were running a business, that's 25% right off your, okay? So what we're trying to do is really find other creative ways to bring students here. And one way is certainly athletics. So I'm really excited. So we will certainly let you know when the first games, I think they're going to be, I think November 13th. That date that might be our first home game. So we'll have another big party.